Hey fans of the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, do you own an Android device? Well, if you do us a favor and go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. That's Podcast Republic app. I use this app, absolutely love it. Search all my podcasts, set them as favorites. They're one click away whenever I want to listen to them. Make sure to set Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast as a favorite so you don't miss any episodes or takes from the guys. Again, the app is called Podcast Republic app, available on your Android device. Welcome back to another episode of the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your co-host, Pat Curran, and joining me as always, the two best fantasy football minds around, Brad the Dad and Josh the Boss. Today we'll be talking about players you need to target, look out for, and stay away from, as the season is right around the corner and fantasy drafts are already underway. Got a few fan questions we'll answer, and we'll answer those before we get into our player breakdowns. But it's time to check in with the guys before we get this wagon rolling. So Brad, how are your eyes feeling after being glued to the TV for the return of football?
Well, you guys might be disappointed to hear this, but yesterday I did watch some football, but I watched a lot more baseball. I don't know. It's still baseball season.
And you are doing pretty well in your fantasy league.
Yeah.
Baseball.
But I know Josh was glued to the TV.
Actually, I didn't watch as much as I wanted to. It came on NFL Network, but yeah, I definitely paid attention to it. There were some people I was interested in seeing yesterday.
Yeah, I had some DirecTV difficulties.
Yeah, we might as well just quit doing fantasy football since we don't watch it anymore, right, guys? Let's just move on.
Let's just quit.
Sounds about right. It's only preseason week 1, but yeah, sure.
Cancel the episode.
Yep. All right. Before we get into the rest of our show here, just want to give a shout out and thanks to our awesome partner, Blue Spade Productions, for all the help they provide with social media marketing and listener interactions. Check them out on Twitter at Blue Spade Pro. Let's start the show with some reports and rumors, as always, around the league as week 1 of preseason is upon us. It's already happening. There's plenty to hit on. Very first, Darius Geis, torn ACL, out for the 2018 season. This is terrible news. You never want to see this happen to anyone, especially a great athlete like Geis. A lot of promise going into this season. Second running back taken?
No, he wasn't.
No, he was not.
He was the first running back taken in the
It
draft.
was the second round.
Right.
Oh, Geis.
Geis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But going into this season, all the fantasy boards, all the projections had him right behind Barkley as your rookie running back. And now that's just got to be postponed at least for another year. So what's your takes on this, guys? Other than it's terrible
fire
news.
up P. Ryan.
I'm going with Skinny Rob, dude. I think Skinny Rob might be your best bet. He did have double-digit touchdowns 2 years ago. Let's not forget.
All right.
Well, it is sad because I do think Darius Geis was a guy that I was targeting. I thought that he had a pretty decent ADP, and he was going to produce. He was a guy that I was hoping was falling to me in a lot of drafts. Unfortunately, that won't happen now, and I'm certainly not going to target P. Ryan or Skinny Rob or Chris Thompson the same way. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this backfield. We're just going to have to pay attention to the preseason, but my guy right now, if I had to pick one, would be Rob Kelly.
Yeah, I think that's what Gruden said too. He said that Kelly and Thompson will see majority of the work. I don't think he likes P. Ryan. Redskins claim they're not looking for a replacement, but Adrian Peterson ready for that phone call. I just want to point out that my hate ADP for that one show we did a few weeks back was Darius Geis. So,
well, I mean, you were right, I guess.
I guess I was right. Yeah, that's what that means. Jets quarterback situation. Teddy Bridgewater is back, and Sam Darnold looked awesome. Did not look like a rookie at all. Was making great plays, great reads. Looked very poised back there. We can pretty much circle out Josh McCown as the third stringer now. Yeah.
No.
I still think Josh McCown starts the season as the quarterback.
Well, that would be a mistake.
We're talking about practice. Okay? Preseason is practice.
I actually watched a little. This is one of the games I had on while I had baseball on my big TV. I had this on my phone. And I was watching a little bit. I saw some the Teddy Bridgewater throws. They looked pretty good. Sam Darnold looked actually way more competent than I thought he would. Thinking that he hasn't been at camp for a while. He's been actually holding out and just signed his deal.
Yeah.
So I was actually surprised. He actually played a lot too. He actually came out in the second half, which the people on the NFL Network, Kurt Warner and them, didn't think was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, either way, the Jets are going to be bad. I think we can all agree with that.
Can't be as bad as the Bills.
Well,
Bills went to the playoffs.
The Crow got hurt too.
Yeah, the Crow went out for concussion, I think. It said head injury, so when I hear head, it's
Concussion protocol.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think the Jets quarterback situation is interesting because Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense there is getting worse every year.
The Jets?
Yeah.
No, they look good. They got a cornerback named Busta Screen.
Yeah.
And guess what he did? He busted up a screen.
Yeah, because he's a slot corner.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, that's his namesake. He better do it.
That's a broadcaster's dream right there. I was so happy for him.
No, he's a slot corner. He was actually on the team last year, but they tried to move him to the outside, and he couldn't cover on the outside.
You got to respect the name. Speaking of rookies looking good, Baker Mayfield and Saquon Barkley both had great first appearances.
Did Saquon have a great first?
Yeah, he had that 1 run for like 42 yards, and everyone crowned him the Prince of New York already.
And then he had 3 runs for 4 yards.
But it was a great first appearance. The Giants are ready for him, and they're excited.
I think when you say first appearance, literally the first time you saw him, he had a good run.
The thing is he's going to be that runner that does that to you, though.
Yeah,
he's going to be
he's
going to be that Adrian Peterson style runner where he just kind of wears you down, and eventually he breaks a couple big ones.
Still in my thunder.
That's just the kind of guy that he is. He's definitely more athletic than AP. Baker though,
AP in his prime, more athletic than AP in his prime.
Well, we don't know yet.
But you just said he's more athletic.
Yeah,
AP in his prime.
You did say that.
Okay, yeah, he is. Have you seen those legs?
You heard it here
He does not
first.
skip like that.
Those legs. Whew.
Anyway, Baker Mayfield looked amazing.
Yeah, it was 11 for 20, but the completions he made was. I mean, he looked like an NFL quarterback. The problem is that Tyrod looked better.
I would say wasn't Tyrod perfect?
Yeah, well, he only threw 5 passes, but they were for 99 and a teat, so that'll do it.
You know who caught 2 touchdown passes?
Njoku.
For each quarterback? Yeah, that's right.
David Njoku. Yeah, that was
Well, they
surprising.
didn't drop those.
Well, did you see that Jarvis Landry went up and mossed a guy? Did you guys see that?
Was that practice one or
No, this was in the game.
Yeah.
Like Jarvis Landry actually went up and got a pass instead of like running just a little out route. Like I was impressed. They want to win out there in Cleveland, man. I think this is going to be a fun team to watch.
Yeah. I mean, and the defense there is actually pretty good. They were pretty good last year. So
it's just the coaching's bad.
Yeah, coaching is bad, but there's nowhere to go but up. Staying in the division, Antonio Brown back on the practice field, back in action, just like Mike Tomlin said. He'll be back. It wasn't a serious injury. And Des Bryant supposedly is going to meet with the Browns next week. Even though he said he was not going to leave the NFC East, looks like he's coming to terms with the situation. Wouldn't that be something if the Browns got Dez?
What does he have to offer them?
who?
Deep threat potential.
Dez.
Dez going to the Browns.
What does he have to offer them?
If he moves as a slot and he plays slot,
That's Jarvis.
but Jarvis can play the outside. If he moves as a slot, he could be like a Larry Fitzgerald.
Would he do that?
He
though?
would-
That's the problem. Yeah, he has to do
The
that.
problem is that Larry Fitzgerald can catch.
Yeah.
Dez cannot catch. Sorry.
And that's pretty much where we're going to leave off with the Dez speak until we find out what actually comes of it next week after the meeting. More news, like I said, a lot of reports and rumors from week one. Marlon Mack's hammy. Ugh. I know, Brad, you took this one pretty hard. You want to speak to this?
Yeah, so I was actually really high on Marlon Mack this year. Thought with Frank Gore gone, he could be the bell cow. Well, maybe not the bell cow running back, but the lead running back there in that situation. They didn't sign any veterans. You actually brought up Adrian Peterson earlier, so I wonder now, does that maybe give them ringing, calling up Adrian Peterson?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a soft tissue injury. Josh always makes comments about me and soft tissue injuries. They linger. Like a hamstring, you don't know when a hamstring's good.
Is he our soft tissue expert?
No, he is the soft tissue expert.
He's the soft tissue.
I'm all about them tissues that are soft.
And then
It's
wrapping. What's that?
He gets in there deep. I think it really. So I know Kalen Ballage went ahead of Jordan Wilkins in the draft, but Jordan Wilkins is the guy that everyone's talking about. He's the guy that they're expecting to. That
What
a lot
about
of
Hines?
fantasy experts are really high on. And I got to be honest, I'm kind of high on Jordan Wilkins too. If I can get him later, kind of just sneak in a little Jordan Wilkins, I'll take a flyer on that guy.
I think he'll be able to. What about Naheem Himes?
And what about the Turbin?
Excuse me?
I mean, he's suspended for the
The
first couple games.
Turbinator?
Oh,
yeah.
Turbin.
Robert Turbin. I mean, he's suspended, but he'll be there eventually. If this hamstring injury keeps flaring up, he's a proven back that's actually carried the ball.
Yeah, Robert Turbin's doo-doo.
All right. And George Kittle and Matt Burrito. Shoulder injuries from the 49ers preseason.
Did you see Matt Burrito?
Yeah, didn't we establish that last week?
Matt Burrito. This is a bummer for Kittles.
Yeah, big time. I think it's a bummer for Jimmy G a little bit too.
Well, I mean, he did
it takes
curse
away that
Jimmy G.
It takes away that great tight end that he wants there.
No, don't they still have Kyle Jakuzic?
They do.
That fullback converted tight end who just catches a bunch of passes.
They have Grant Selleck, too.
Who?
Grant Selleck.
He's still around?
No, that's
No, not Brent.
That's Brent Selleck.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
Grant Selleck.
Yeah, there
He's
you
still
go.
almost as old, but not quite.
Oh, okay.
How do you say Burrito's name?
I can't even say it now. Matt Burrito.
Burrito. All right, I'll try to remember that.
No, we'll go Burrito. I like it better.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, shoulder injuries for both the guys. There was no structural damage, no ligaments, no tears, or anything like that. So hopefully they can be back. They say that Kittle should be back by week 1, but still that's not great when you're talking about not playing any of the preseason.
That's all right. Jimmy G's there. Instant chemistry. It'll just happen.
That doesn't work that way all the time. But
We'll see. And that wraps up our reports and rumors. Anything to add? Anything you guys want to, that I forgot to add to your reports and rumors? I think that's it. I think we hit on all of them. I'm sure there will be more coming in the week, and we will tweet them out. So make sure you're following Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast on Twitter.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, we're recording this while the Chargers game's on, the Broncos game's in like the fourth quarter. So if news breaks, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I got to get on a plane tomorrow, so I guess you can blame that one on me.
we will.
All right. Well, it's time for you know what.
It's the little guys helping the little guys, 'cause the big guys don't have time for the little guys. Segment.
Oh, that was so beautiful. That's right. It's time for the little guys helping the little guys segment. And what that means is we're a fantasy football podcast. We're just starting up with the little guys right now until we get to the big guys, which we will one day. But we have all these fantasy football players out there asking these big fantasy football podcasts these questions, and they just fly under the radar. Big guys just don't have time for those little guy questions. Exactly. But here at the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, we have time for the little guys because we are the little guys. And that is what this segment's all about. So the first question is from Francisco Mendoza. And here it is. If I get the last pick of the first round, should I take a wide receiver and then A-Rod? A-Rod being Aaron Rodgers, of course. Yeah. Josh, go ahead and take us away.
So for me, I guess I would find this acceptable in like a 20-team league maybe.
2 quarterback.
Or a 2 QB. If I was like the 20th team drafting, I would take a wide receiver and then Aaron Rodgers possibly. But 2 QB league would be the only way. There's not a lot more specifics on this. But in a standard setup, 10, 12-team league, there's no way, man. You're going to sit there and tell me with your first 2 picks you're not taking a running back? That's just not my cup of tea. And then you're taking a quarterback with one of those. So you're not going 0 RB, and then on top of that, you're not even going to get a second primo wide receiver. It's dangerous. You can't do it.
My thing with it is if you do want to take Aaron Rodgers there, let's say you're a big Aaron Rodgers fan, you want Aaron Rodgers and you're in the last, like you have those bookend picks and you got to do it, I would definitely go running back. If I was in standard, I could see myself maybe doing it a little more, but I would go running back over wide receiver still because if you wait on running backs are going so fast this year that if you wait in a standard league, especially, you're not getting anything good.
Yeah, and people forget how many times you can actually have quarterbacks to support 2 decent wide receivers. Yeah. When there's not many teams that can produce or sustain 2 decent running backs, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, there's not a lot of teams that can produce 1 decent running back. So
if you do want to kind of mix it up there, I could see maybe take a big tight end there. Take a Gronk maybe instead of an Aaron Rodgers. And, just solidify that tight end position, a Gronk or a Kelsey or an Ertz or something like that if you want to get really crazy with it.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're at the end of the first round, you're waiting till 20-some picks later to get your pick in the third round.
Before we move on to the next question, I just want to say I was in a 20-team league or 20-team league, fantasy league once. Oh, my God, it was miserable.
Yeah.
And that would be a good pick if you get them there. But, oh, my God, I will never again.
Yeah.
And yes, totally agree with the running back. You can do wide receiver. Don't do Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, 2 quarterback league maybe. Wide receivers are pretty deep. You can get decent wide receivers in the later rounds, but running backs are going early. So with those early picks, take primo running backs. All right, our next question comes from Sam Hoppin. Who is the last wide receiver in your rankings you're comfortable with having as your wide receiver 1? And Brad, I'll be fair and give this to you.
So I probably should have thought this through. So last wide receiver that I would like having as my wide receiver 1 is maybe, I don't know, probably like a Brandon Cooks. I don't have my rankings up right now, but maybe a Brandon Cooks. I'm happy with him being my wide receiver 1. He's a borderline 1. But if you really want to go even later, Fitzgerald, we've talked about him multiple times. He can be a wide receiver 1.
Yikes.
Yeah. But if you wait that long, and I waited long last year, and I was kind of really weak at wide receiver.
You kind of throw some shade on Larry Fitz last episode.
I did.
Because of the new offensive scheme.
But
which makes sense.
It could hurt him a lot. We're not talking about a spring chicken out there.
He stays in shape. He's a good golfer. Won the Pebble Beach Pro-Am a few years back.
Oh, he's in better shape than I've ever been in my life, but still, that's not what we're talking about here.
All right, Josh. Who is your last wide receiver 1 that you're comfortable with having as your wide receiver 1 in your rankings when you're drafting?
I'm going to go with the San Francisco guy, Marquise Goodwin. I think I would be okay with him being my wide receiver 1. And the reason that I think that is because I think he's going to blow up this year.
Marquise Goodwin?
Yeah.
You know Pierre Garçon is the wide receiver 1.
I'm also very well aware that he's 90 years old. I'm just saying if I'm looking at my rankings here and I'm seeing like who's going where, I mean, I could say a guy like, Golden Tate maybe, but if you want to go even deeper, because there's guys there like, I'm really high on Goodwin. I'd take him as my wide receiver 1.
Okay. How early would you take him as wide receiver 1?
Huh?
How early?
Well, right now he's got an ADP of 81 overall, so he's going in the 7th round of 12-team drafts. I would probably take him there. I might even take him around earlier. It just depends on the makeup of my team. But I'm trying if I'm going running back, tight end, and possibly a QB there, which isn't my strategy normally. But yeah, I would take him in the 7th round, 6th round even.
It's pretty late for a wide receiver 1, but yeah, that makes sense if you're going with Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to go that deep, but if I'm going that deep, I could see a Robbie Anderson if he doesn't get suspended.
Yeah, I interpreted this a whole different way, and Devontae Adams is my cutoff for a true primo wide receiver 1.
Yeah, but okay. So if we're doing that, I think that we were talking about who would you be comfortable with as the wide receiver 1 on your team. That's the way that I interpreted the question.
So I'm taking this as your first 3 or 4 rounds, you didn't take a wide receiver. You're in the 3rd or 4th round, and now you have to go grab a wide receiver. Who do you want? And I understand where Josh is coming with the great one.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Because you need a big play guy. Pierre Garçon will be a steady. He'll be a Julian Edelman-esque type player, which isn't going to win you a week. I mean, it'll keep you in a game, but you need that player that's going to be head and shoulders above the rest.
Thielen, Diggs, I would take them as my wide receiver 1.
Still pretty. I mean, those are still pretty early guys. We're still talking 3rd round.
And if you can patch something together, Julian Edelman is your wide receiver 1. I'd be okay with that as well. If you can patch together his first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
5. You're getting 5 weeks.
Oh, yeah,
because the bye week.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, yeesh. I mean, I saw him the other day on the sideline, and he's looking a little weak, The arms aren't what they used to be, so It's unfortunate. All right, this is from final question, Stein9. What rookie running back besides Barkley do you think will have a fantasy impact this year? I'll go ahead and just start. Darius, oh, wait, nope, can't say him. I guess he's already made a fantasy impact of sorts, but...
He impacted his knee.
Yeah.
Boom.
But yep, Saquon Barkley, clear rookie running back number 1. Other than that, I can see Rashard Penny, maybe. Up in Seattle, I can see Royce Freeman in Denver with that depth chart being... I'm getting some faces over here. I can see... Who did I just say? Royce Freeman in Denver with a depth chart. Pretty much what, Devontae Booker's the only one in front of him?
Yeah, they'll pass him eventually because Devontae Booker's awful.
It comes down to playing time with these guys, and there's no good, clear path. But last year, there wasn't a clear path for Alvin Kamara, too, and the team made a path for him. So, Ronald Jones or Royce Freeman, Penny could be there. Sony Michel, if the knee's good, but we've got bad things about the knee. And I know Josh has one guy he wants to talk about. Always.
Here we go.
Go ahead, Josh.
I have to talk about Mr. Kerryon Johnson. You guys know that I love Kerryon Johnson, and he's already making waves over there. Preseason broke off a big run.
Called back.
Proving how valuable he is. Oh, I love him so much. I love you, Kerryon. If you're listening to this, I love you.
You know, I love Jimmy G. He loves Carrot. Do you have a love fest over there?
I
yet?
just love championships.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's a good
He
thing
loves
to
Sammy
love.
Watkins.
Yeah, but not like your
Last
Carrot
year, I
love.
didn't love him too much.
You like David Johnson a lot.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, I do see Carry On. That's actually probably a pretty good rookie number 2 to keep an eye out for.
If he gets the ball, I'm worried about LeGarrette Blount vulturing touchdowns. I'm worried about Theo Riddick stealing all the passing down work. And now we're talking about a running back that works between the 20s. Which is,
Dula got a lot of work in preseason.
He caught 3 passes last night in the preseason game.
yeah, because Theo Riddick is not on the field because they're saving him for the season.
Amir Abdullah got a lot of work last night, which makes you wonder if
He's
they're
getting cut.
or they're showcasing him for another team for a trade, which is what
He's
teams do
still
a
on a
lot
rookie
of
deal,
times.
so he's still cheap. So
He's still cheap, and there's a reason for that, because he's doo-doo. Kerryon's the future.
And that will wrap up our little guys helping little guys, because big guys don't have time for our little guys segment.
I love that segment.
It's a pretty good name, pretty original. And now it's time for the showcase feature of this show, which is our...
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's heroes, villains, and sidekicks.
That's right, it's heroes, villains, and sidekicks, more commonly referred to as breakout, bust, and sleepers. But I like what we came up with. That's pretty good. That's pretty catchy.
Yeah, I like Heroes. Villains.
Pretty original here at the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast.
Crushing it.
What do you guys want to start with? You want to start with sidekicks?
Yeah, let's go sidekicks.
All right.
sidekicks.
And then work our way up to the top 2.
I like
Okay.
that.
So, who wants to go first, guys?
Go ahead, Josh.
You seem really eager over there.
Well, you guys aren't going to like my sidekick. I already know Brad doesn't like him.
Okay.
It's Mr. Cole Beasley. Okay. 2 years ago, Cole Beasley had his breakout season for him anyway. It wasn't over 1,000 yards or anything crazy, but he still had an incredible season. And his draft position is still really, really low. So you're going to get great value out of Cole Beasley whenever you draft him. He's going to be the guy there. They're working him around the field. He's not just going to work in the slot anymore. So, I mean, even Michael Gallup, they're thinking that he's going to be the guy. But you got to remember, he's a rookie. Cole Beasley's going in the 14th round. 14th round. We're not talking about a guy who's going to break out. I'm not saying he's going to be your wide receiver 1. But could I see him in the top 24 at the end of the season? Yeah, I could do that. I could totally see that. I understand he's 5'8" and 180 pounds. Brad's ready to throw up right now. But he's a sleeper.
Are you nervous at all about the reports that they're trying to move him to the outside? A 5-out, surprisingly quick wide receiver.
Surprisingly
with a
quick.
high motor.
He's using a lot of air quotes right now, guys. I just want you to...
Well, I'm just using all the draft stuff they talk about when they talk about wide receivers like him.
No, I'm not worried about that at all. Him and Dak have a very good connection. And Alan Hearns is not a clear-cut 1. Cole Beasley can be that guy.
You're saying Cole Beasley can be a clear-cut 1.
He can be Dallas's clear-cut 1.
Do you know what Rob calls Cole Beasley? The poor man Julian Edelman.
That's fine. I
At
got
least
a
he'll be
case of
there
the
all
Beasley.
game. He'll be there all the games.
I got a bad case of the Beasles. I'm okay with it. He's a sleeper.
So where are you
my
taking
sidekick.
him?
What?
14th round? Is that where you're
He's
talking?
going to the 14th round. Why won't you take a stab at that? That's the last pick before you make your kicker and your defense pick. If you even have to take them in some leagues, which you don't.
Yeah, I'm taking Safari Jenkins in that pick.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, do whatever you want, but he's a sidekick. He ain't Batman, he's Robin, all right? That's what we're talking about, sidekicks here, guys. All right. What do you guys got since you're so high and mighty over there?
He ain't Robin. I got Robin over here. It's Mike Williams, wide receiver, LA Chargers. Number 7th overall pick in 2017. He battled injuries in college. He went to Clemson, caught passes from your boy Deshaun Watson.
A lot of passes.
And in his rookie campaign. And now he has a clean bill of health. And if that remains true, he's in line to be the number 2 target from Phillip Rivers, a premier quarterback. Obviously behind Keenan Allen. And with that Hunter Henry injury, it opens up that door for him to be number 2. He's got an ADP of 122, which is an early 10th or late 11th round pick. He's going right around picks like Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Cameron Meredith. And if he plays to his potential, he could give you solid wide receiver 2 numbers by the end or the middle of the season. He could be a starter. Like, pen him in. Don't have to worry about Mike Williams. That's my sidekick. That's Robin.
I actually really like Mike Williams this year. I think a full healthy offseason is going to help him out.
Yeah, he got a little injury
last year. It wasn't like he was practicing at all. So if he can actually get on, he has a good quarterback, which obviously helps if you're a wide receiver. Having a great quarterback helps out a lot.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, the Chargers, though, the injury bug seems to always follow that team around no matter where they go. They even tried moving out of San Diego, and they're still following them all the way up.
Yep.
All the way up the I-5.
Been there.
Almost typed out San Diego Chargers on here, and then I was like, oop, nope.
Don't worry, Madden still does it.
Yeah.
Who?
Madden?
Really?
Madden, the game. It says beautiful San Diego.
That's funny.
Yeah, they got a patch out, don't worry.
They do that, and they block Kaepernick's name, so.
Yeah, well, it happens. But that's my sidekick. Keep an eye out for him. I think you can probably get him in the 11th round. And you could be getting a wide receiver 2 number right there.
Yeah, and one of those things for me is you're just going to have to pay attention to the preseason to see who their wide receiver 2 is.
And if he stays healthy.
But the draft capital was there. They spent it on him. I mean, it could easily be him.
And he was great in college. He was great in Clemson.
No one went with Kevin White? No one?
Is he even still on the team?
In Chicago? Yeah. Yes.
Sure about that? I'm not.
Who's your sidekick, Brad?
All right, my sidekick. There's no reason for me to pick this. I'm just talking straight out of my heart. So if I guess I had a love, this would be my love. It's good old Kalen Ballage.
Interesting.
There is no reason for him to have anything this year. It's kind of like when we looked at Alvin Kamara last year, trying to draw some correlations there. Is a talented running back that the team spent some draft capital on, who had a decent career. His last season in college was kind of a down season. He had a lot bigger hype than what he came up with. But he's behind Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore. So right now, he's not going to get a lot of work. But if something happens mid-season with either Frank Gore or Drake, or you just watch the team and see how they use Drake, because even last year, they didn't want to give Drake the ball until injuries and trading J.J. made it happen. So there's a chance Kalen Ballage, who's super athletic.
He's so athletic.
So fast.
He's so fast.
Got that straight line speed. Last time I checked, the end zone's in front of you, not to the side of you.
Oh, is that a fact? I wasn't aware of that.
I agree with this. I don't think Kenyon Drake is your wide receiver or running back 1 in Miami. No. I don't think he's a clear-cut number 1.
They don't even want him to be the running back 1 in Miami.
Yeah. And I could see them doing something there because you have Frank Gore, but are they really going to ride Frank Gore for the whole season if they're out of playoff contention? And are they going to try something? We saw it 3 years ago with David Johnson in Arizona. Chris Johnson was there, and they're like, you know what? Last 4 games this season, let's just let David Johnson work. And he ended up being a top 10 running back for the season.
And that's the thing is, like, the Dolphins are going to be horrendous. No, they're going to be bad.
They got Tannehill back, so.
I mean, they'll probably be the Patriots.
That is the
if
one
it's
game.
in Miami in September, yes, we will lose.
That's the one game that they
or the Week 16 or 17 game, whatever.
Upsetting someone. Yeah, but other than that, they're going to be awful, guys. So Kalen Ballage is going to get an opportunity. I think it's a good.
It could, yeah. And we're talking ADP of 160. We're talking not even really drafted. We're talking if
160?
he is 16th, depending on how deep your league is, he's maybe drafted, maybe not.
So late round,
and he's probably waiver wire fodder once you make your first moves after week 1 because he's not on the field. And like Alvin Kamara was last year, people that drafted Alvin Kamara dropped him week 1 or 2.
Yeah, it did.
Because you couldn't find spots on your roster for him because you needed to fill other slots because bye week started happening and stuff like that. Yeah. That could be something with Kalen Ballage. We could see something after they have a late bye week of 11 unless there's another hurricane that rolls through Miami and forces them to take a bye week in week 1 again.
Wow. Went there. Time for villains.
No, last year. Last year they had a bye week.
No, yeah, Hurricane Irma, you're right. All right, time for villains.
Oh.
My villain My villain is Jay Ajayi, running back, Philadelphia Eagles. He was a bust as a running back, one in Miami, and now he's with the Eagles. I don't see the narrative changing. He's in the backfield with Darren Sproles and Corey Clement, who will steal third down and red zone work, and they fit better with Peterson's offense. Avoid Ajayi at ADP 37. 37, that's third round pick. And he's being taken right around Alex Collins, who is projected to have a much better year. So take him instead, and if he doesn't fall there, then you'll still have options like Lamar Miller or Kenyon Drake, we just talked about. There's another running back option, or Adam Thielen, Doug Ball, and Mari Cooper, all projected to be right around there. Draft Clement late, avoid Jai early, you'll have a good season. Among other things. You got to do other things. But you do those two things, you'll be all right. That's my feeling.
I got to disagree, dude. I actually like Jay Ajayi this year. Brad's like shocked right now.
Didn't see that coming.
Well, towards the end of the year, it was apparent that they wanted to get Corey Clement involved. But they want a running back that's this style. Slow, yeah. They had two of them last year. I don't know if you remember, LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi were on the same team.
They're a trade.
Hey, they were on the same team, and they used both of them in a very similar way. I think he's going to get more work this year. And if that knee with that bone on bone holds up, then
yeah, that's always good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Bone on bone.
Hey, man, I like the dude. I like him a lot better than I like Kenyon Drake, who's going right after him. And Derrick Henry's still going before him, and I like Jay Ajayi more than I like Derrick Henry. So,
I think the thing with Jay Ajayi is they traded him from Miami because he didn't practice. He couldn't practice.
we're talking about practice, though.
Yeah, and usually you need to do that to pass block.
No, we're
And
talking
when you have
about
Carson Wentz
practice.
back there with a reconstructed knee, I'm pretty sure they want a guy that can pass block back there.
But we're talking about practice. He's Super Bowl champion. Super Bowl champions, they got to practice. Come on.
I don't think they won the Super Bowl because of him, though.
Pretty sure the Patriots practice a
They
lot.
won it mostly because of Corey Clement and Nick Foles. All right. And Trey Burton.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh, love him.
All right.
Who's our next villain here? Brad,
I'll go. I'm going to shock the world right here. I want to step out on some limbs for these. You know, I've been playing it safe this whole podcast ever since we started it, and I'm stepping out on a limb.
I almost feel like you should go last because yours is like
You want me to go
shock and
last?
awe.
Yeah,
Yours
we'll
is
go
like
last.
shock and
I'll go
awe.
last.
Can't do that to the fans. Get them all
Yeah, well,
excited.
it's called a
Let's
Teaser.
Let me just get mine out of the way because
Yeah.
mine's not as bad.
Better have some drops for yours.
Mine's Juju. Juju, based on where he's going, right? So
Which is?
he's going in the fourth round, 43rd overall pick, 406. That's disgusting.
I don't hate that.
Well, Golden Tate's going after him, Lamar Miller, Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon, Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks, Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, the list goes on and on of players who I think are going to perform better than him. Juju Smith is the second wide receiver. He's going to be playing third fiddle. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, they're going to get all the work in Pittsburgh. And Juju does what Juju did the other night in the preseason game. He had one big play. How many times has Big Ben had 2,000-yard receivers? Once. Once in his entire career. And that was back when a guy by the name of Hines Ward plays. I don't know if you guys remember Hines Ward. Yeah, that was a long time ago. So anyway.
They didn't have one with Martavis Bryant, and
Nope.
Martavis was close though 1 year though, right? Didn't he have like 900,
he was close.
900 with ABs, 1,000?
Le'Veon Bell has not put on a Steelers uniform this year. You
Doesn't
know
have
that,
to.
right?
He didn't put one on last year.
Okay.
He still caught 83 passes, 85 passes.
Okay.
That's what the thing is a Juju, he's going to have those big plays to get you excited and everything like that. But Antonio Brown is there. The rookie that they got, Washington, they really like him a lot. I think that you're just going to sit there and see this offense keep working the same way it is. The guy who they promoted to be the offensive coordinator was already in the system. He was a quarterback coach last year. This thing's just going to keep rolling. And the only difference now is that Ben is going to be able to do some quarterback sneaks. That's it. That's it. Because that was the only thing that Todd Haley wouldn't let him do was a QB sneak. So Juju's a bust. I'm calling it. Take Golden Tate. Draft Golden Tate over Juju. Don't take Juju there.
Do you have any like issues or maybe Antonio Brown if he misses any time? Because that's when Juju came on last year, was when Antonio Brown missed time. And that could be when Juju becomes really fantasy relevant.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He's talented enough to. I don't want to sit there and
because we already have reports of AB missing practices and possibly setting, and he missed games last year. And like we talk about Larry Fitzgerald, they ain't getting younger.
But Big Ben can't sustain 2 top receivers and that top running back. He just can't. So
He might be able to with that rookie there.
Do what?
Nipping at his heels.
Well, Mason Rudolph isn't going to change how great Big Ben is.
He might.
He can want in one hand and crap in the other. Okay? See which one fills up first.
Is that a bleep?
No, I said crap. It's fine. You can say crap.
You can say that.
I'll say crap all day.
You can't say bomb on an airplane.
You can't say bomb on an airplane.
All right. You ready for this villain? Oh, my gosh. This is going to...
Brad's the villain right now.
All right. So my villain. We got to slow the hype train down here. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're jumping on the hype train.
Hit the brakes.
We're using that Jake brake and we're pulling it. We're coming into the station. We're slowing down. Okay.
That's a trucker term, guys.
Saquon Barkley. Yep. What was that? We just scratched the record. Everything set back up. Saquon Barkley. Why is he going to be a bust? His ADP has him almost exactly with Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
And Alvin Kamara's ADP is so high because Mark Ingram's gone.
Okay.
Saquon Barkley is above Melvin Gordon, who's done it. Leonard Fournette, who gets a lot of work. Kareem Hunt, who just led the league in rushing last year. Dalvin Cook, who's coming off an injury, which I don't understand that one. Christian McCaffrey, Devonta Freeman. A handful of all these running backs that have done it, that are on teams that can sustain running back work. The Giants last year, I know they didn't have a super talented running back, but they didn't even have an 800-yard rusher.
Are you telling me Paul Perkins isn't a super talented running back?
That was like 2 years ago. He didn't do anything. Orleans Darkwa was last year.
No, Paul Perkins came in as RB1 last year. He did. Because remember, Matt drafted him in our league.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
Awful.
Yeah, Orleans Darkwa was their leading rusher last year. Oh. So I worry about the offensive line, which was doo-doo last year. I worry about the defense being terrible and just getting schemed out of running the ball. Okay, and then, he's going to get all this passing down work. Really? With Evan Ingram, Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, Eli Manning doing pirouettes back there and throwing the ball up in the air?
Oh, so beautiful.
You expect him to get Le'Veon Bell type receptions? Not happening. All right, let's go back and let's look. Everybody's super high on him because of the rookie running backs last year, right? We had all these great rookie running backs. We had 4 in the top 10 in PPR. We had Hunt, Kamara, Fournette, and McCaffrey all finished in the top 10. The year prior to that, 2016, we had 2, Zeke and Jordan Howard. And Jordan Howard barely got there, right? So then in 2015, we had 2. We had Gurley and DJ, who didn't even play for a full year, and the running backs were terrible that year. They were the spot 10 was 30 points lower than the past 2 seasons.
Who was it? DJ and Gurley?
DJ and Gurley finished in top 15 in the top 10. Barely. They both barely cracked it. But I mean, everyone remember Gurley blew up for those 6 games that he played. But the running backs were actually down that year compared to our prior seasons and the seasons after. 2014, goose egg. No rookie running backs in the top 10. And 2013, we had 1, good old cheeseburger Lacey.
Oh,
wow.
Love Eddie.
So when you look back at these guys that got it, last year we had Hunt, who fell into a perfect situation, right? A perfect storm with Spencer Ware. Kamara, who was super efficient. Fournette, who was on a team that made it to the AFC Championship game and didn't want Bortles to lose games for him. And McCaffrey, who is a free PPR monster, right? Pretty much a wide receiver back there in the backfield. And also, they had no wide receivers in Carolina. And if you go back 2 years ago, you had Zeke, who had the best offensive line to run behind. They were opening up holes that you could drive your truck through.
I would have gained a couple yards.
Yeah. And then Jordan Howard fell into a nice where he just got loaded with the ball because he was the only healthy running back on that team that year.
Yeah, he performed well the next year too, though.
Yeah, but that's why his rookie year was so great.
Okay.
So you're projecting him to be a bust at his current ADP?
Yes, at his current ADP. He'll still be probably, I'm going to say he won't be an RB1. He'll be an RB2.
Wow.
So he won't be in your top 10 in the season.
So you're not drafting him?
Going after him that you like more than him?
Melvin Gordon, Fournette, Hunt, McCaffrey, in PPR.
What about Cook?
Cook, I'm worried about the injuries. And we talked about Barkley. Barkley had that great 30-some yard run at the beginning, and then his next 3 runs did nothing. So if the offensive line does not give him a hole and give him the space to break it and get past the line, he's not going to make all these big plays.
Okay.
Remember Melvin Gordon from a few years ago, his rookie year, where he didn't break any big runs, no touchdowns?
Yeah, I remember that. So does his mama.
Gross.
His mama wouldn't even wear his jersey.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
That's how much she's like.
And I drafted him in fantasy way too early.
You gotta. Could you imagine your mama not supporting you though? I know it's off topic. That's cool.
Maybe she's supporting him in a different way. It's called motivation.
It's true.
She's like, you got to earn that, son.
Yeah, she ain't
Watch
gonna
I,
lie.
Tonya?
No, I've never watched I, Tonya.
Oh, it's a good movie. You should watch it.
But yes, I just think Saquon Barkley going in the first round, and he's going like pick 6 now. That's way too early for the situation in New York. They're not going to be winning a lot of games. And running backs on bad teams usually don't do great.
Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah. Did he do
Duke
great?
Johnson.
1 year. Duke Johnson is a PPR machine, right?
He's
a wide receiver. They lined him up at wide receiver a lot.
Okay, so where are you comfortable taking Saquon before we move on?
Well, obviously, I'm never going to take him because he'll never be there, but maybe into the second round.
Wow.
I could see him blowing up a lot of people's drafts like Gurley did 2 years ago.
Yeah, we were there for that. I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting take. Almost made a believer out of me. But I will proceed with caution now for Saquon
Trust me, I'm probably
Barkley.
wrong about this and everything about it, but I just want to slow the hype train down a little
All
bit.
right, stepping out on a limb. Come on out. There's plenty of space.
Yeah, what's that cracking sound?
All right, and now it's time for our heroes.
Yes.
So you started with our sidekicks. I started with villains. We'll kick it back to you, Brad, for our heroes.
Yeah. So
Redeem yourself.
I will. And we're going to go with a little sexy Rexy Burkhead
Oh, I
I
love
like
it.
it.
out there. Sony Michel's knees. We don't know how long he's going to be out for now. They say, so Pat, you're the resident Patriots expert here. I mean, they named you Pat after the Pats.
That's right.
That's what his parents did.
That's exactly what they
His
did.
father is Tom Curran. So.
Yeah.
It's not true.
So, did they say when Sony Michel's going to be back to practice or anything?
They did not. It's Patriots camp.
Exactly.
You
They
get
ain't gonna
more
tell you
out of
anything.
Nazi
You're not
Germany.
going to know. He'll Jonas Gray us and we'll, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Who is Jonas Gray?
exactly. So New England the past 2 seasons have finished, if you look at rushing yards in the top 10, rushing touchdowns in the top 10, rushing attempts in the top 10. Even though we always worry about the New England running back situation, like who are they going to start? They've been in the top 10 of attempts, yards, and touchdowns the last 2 seasons. With Brady getting older, I think they're trying to protect him a little more. You know, you can't have Brady back there throwing the ball 57 times a game. I think it's just a smarter thing to do. You have an older quarterback who needs to, you're playing for a Super Bowl. You're not playing for week 1 or week 2. You're not like the Dolphins out there. So you're going to give Rex Burkhead the ball. Dion Lewis is gone, who was the guy taking a lot of the work last year from Burkhead, if you really look at it. I'm not worried about Mike Gillislee. I'm
No.
not worried about Jeremy Hill.
No.
I mean, they will probably have games this year that are going to frustrate you because Bill Belichick's going to be like, well, we're playing this team and Jeremy Hill makes a good left cut. So, yep, we're going to use him in this game.
Yeah,
But that'll be
probably.
his one game. And you'll
What about
trade-
James White?
Miami.
James White's he's a PPR guy. He's going to get his passing work and he'll get his catches. But I just think Burkhead's going to be more of their bell cow running back. He won't be a full up bell cow, but in a PPR where he's going to get these touchdowns and he's going to be great for you, especially where his ADP's at.
They love him in New England too.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Belichick doesn't pay running backs, right? He paid Burkhead. They opted to keep him. I mean, this is a guy, when he was there and he was healthy, they used him and they used him a lot. I had him as an RB2 and I wrote him right into the playoffs and he put up RB1 numbers a lot of times when he was healthy. I think
doesn't
that's a
fumble.
perfect pick, dude. And if he's
His-
healthy, he's going to be there and he's going to be crushing it.
And his ADP is climbing because of the Sony Michel news. He's actually jumped Sony Michel in ADP. I think when I actually picked this, it was the other way around. But he's up to ADP of 60. So you may have to take him, 5th, 6th round. You're probably going to jump on him. But I think he's a great running back, and he will sustain you in the running back and be a solid. Let's say you take a stud running back and then you try to fill the other positions. You can come and grab him on the way back through.
Oh, I will.
And you'll be happy. I mean, you'll have to probably fight those New England games where he just doesn't get the work.
It's going to happen. Expected. But you're right. Bill Belichick does love him. That's because he doesn't fumble the ball. That's all he asks out of his running backs is don't fumble my football.
And Jeremy Hill, I think, has fumbling problems. Gillisley had fumbling problems.
Mm-hmm.
Sony Michel in college had fumbling problems.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no way.
And you know who didn't? LeGarrette Blount. And that's why he was on the team for so long. Got rid of him, we re-signed him. Got rid of him, re-signed him because he didn't fumble the ball. And that's why he had success with New England. Josh, who's your hero over there?
Mr. Corey Davis.
I thought you were going to go with Marquise Goodwin.
No. Corey Davis. That's my guy. So the Tennessee receiving core is meh. They're not great. You know who is great? Corey Davis. He was drafted to be the guy. And if you guys all know.
So was Kevin White.
Well, if you know anything about that, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Corey Davis has climbed up to the depth chart to be the number 1 wide receiver overall on their team. Came out of Western Michigan. 5. That was the pick he was taken at last year. They've already talked about how great he's been. He's bounced back from drops. He's putting together monster days in camp. Yada, yada, yada. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the go-to guy. Outside of Delaney Walker, who Mariota loves. We know that. Corey Davis is going to be the clear-cut number 1 receiver, guys. He's going to have over 1,000 yards. He's going to put up at least wide receiver 2 numbers. You're going to draft him, and you're going to love it.
You know who else was supposed to be the guy? Corey Coleman.
Hey, he is the guy now.
He is the
in
guy.
Buffalo, which we didn't talk about.
Not Kelvin Benjamin?
Look, Josh Gordon come
Kelvin?
back.
I mean, Cam Newton just took
That
him and
was
yelled at
funny.
him.
Did you see that video?
Yeah.
Hey,
Obviously,
Cam Newton's
they're
a
not
man. I want
friends.
to give a shout-out to him. He went straight up to the source. Handled that like a man. He didn't shy away from it. Kelvin Benjamin was like, I didn't say anything. He's a punk. He was an out-of-shape punk, and then he's going to point fingers at Cam Newton. Sorry, this is off topic, but I love Cam Newton, so don't get me started on that.
Let's wait to see on Corey Coleman. Anything to add to Corey Davis?
No, I love him.
All right.
I just love how you're super high on Corey Davis. You're high on Delaney Walker, but you hate Mariota,
Interesting.
which really blows my mind.
I don't like Matt Ryan, but there were years when he gave Julio Jones plenty of love.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you don't have to be high on a quarterback. There's 2 different ways. You can not like him for your fantasy team, or you can not like him just as a quarterback in the NFL.
No, I understand all that. How
Cam Newton's
many
great-
touchdowns did Corey Davis have last year?
Why were in the playoffs? He did all right.
In the
I don't
playoffs.
think-
Mariota also threw a touchdown to himself in the playoffs. You want to bring that up?
Yeah, well, hey,
And this is a fantasy football podcast. Last time I checked, you don't get points for playoff football.
wide receiver is a very difficult position to learn in the NFL as a rookie.
Yeah.
There were several guys I could have went for my villain. I even
Your hero, you mean, right?
know my villain.
Oh,
I was looking at that list, and that list I could have picked 10 guys like Mike Evans. I hate him.
yeah. I know. I mean, Corey Davis could be great. I think this is
Will
a
be great.
big hill to climb there.
It's a very big hill to climb.
I mean, the offensive scheme will change there. New coaching staff.
Defensive-minded head coach.
Well, let's see what you got.
My hero is Marquise Lee, wide receiver for Jacksonville.
Never mind, Josh. You're a genius.
Okay.
Yeah, see, mine don't look too bad now, does it?
Interesting. You guys should say this because his ADP is 126, going right after Mike Williams. Well, Williams obviously is my sleeper pick. And hopes reduced, but if he doesn't, you only wasted an 11th round pick who could materialize into a wide receiver 2. Marquise Lee is a wide receiver 1 on Jacksonville. Don't know if you knew that.
That's on the depth chart.
You can get, yeah, that's what wide receiver 1 is. You can get him in the 12th or 13th round.
Is he, though?
He is. Yeah, he's wide receiver 1 in a pretty efficient offense with a QB that is primed to have the best year of his career, a running back that fills the box and demands safety help, and a defense that is going to get stops, going to get the offense back on the field at least 2 or 3 more times than a normal NFL game flow. It is a crowded depth chart, but with the absence of Allen Robinson, they need someone to step up and be the guy. And with the most targets from 2017 on that wide receiver depth chart, you can look to Marquise Lee to be a regular starter in your fantasy football lineup by mid-season. You got Fournette there, taking the carries. He's not a PPR threat. Austin Safari-Jenkins, pretty decent tight end. I'm high on him, but it remains to be seen. They went out and signed Dante Moncrief. Don't worry about that. He's not going to
take touchdowns.
He's not. You got Keelan Cole, who's kind of a sleeper pick. But really, the doors are open for Marquise Lee to be the guy in Jacksonville. That's my hero. Bank on it.
So the reason I don't like Marquise Lee is the same reason I'm always down on Juju, and I'm down on all the wide receivers that come from USC, because there is a track record of USC wide receivers in the NFL underperforming, not living up to expectations.
Give him.
Even those years when they were winning national championships and going national championship games, and all those wide receivers that put up numbers came into the NFL and did nothing. You remember Jared Jack? I know Carolina does.
Ugh. So we can all agree that Jacksonville was a pretty good team last year, right?
Yes. They made it to the championship. So,
Yeah, they made it to the AFC Championship game. Very good team. The issue with that is that when they're a good team, they don't produce fantasy numbers because there's no garbage time.
Well, one guy does.
Like the snake?
No. Fournette.
Fournette, yeah. Well, okay, so Fournette does. But
and their defense.
the reason that Blake Bortles was a QB1 the past few years, low-end QB1, and the reason that they had, Allen Robinson being a wide receiver 1, and they even had another guy a couple years ago, ended up as a wide receiver 1. I think it was Hearns. It was that same year that Robinson blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because there was so much garbage time. And I'm not even sure if Marquise Lee's the best receiver on the team. It might be Dede. It could be Keelan Cole. I mean, we've heard a lot about these other guys on the team, and their wide receiver room's deep, man.
It is.
It's really deep. I don't know. I mean, like you said, the capital is it's not going to cost you a lot to get him.
Exactly. And he could be a huge breakout. He could be a huge hero for your team if you get him in the very late rounds.
Okay.
I just think after the year that Blake had, I think they have faith in him now not to blow the game. Especially after that AFC Championship game.
He still makes bad mistakes.
Dude, he balled out against Pittsburgh, though.
And that game against New England, that was New England coming back to win it. That was not Blake Bortles losing it for them. So
it looks like almost every time I watch a Jacksonville game, I see Blake Bortles run in front of the line of scrimmage and throw the ball away.
It's not going to happen this year. Not as much.
Like the last 2 years I've watched him, then the 4 games I've actually watched him play the whole Jacksonville game, he's literally ran 3 yards in front of the line of scrimmage, and he threw one for a touchdown and celebrated. And I'm like, dude, you're 3 yards past the line of scrimmage.
I didn't say he was smart. I just said he's going to have a decent year, probably the best year of his career. Marquise Lee's going to benefit from that.
Efficiency-wise, maybe. If they win again, he'll be efficiency-wise. But if it won't be his numbers he's put up. Because Blake Bortles has put up, fantasy-wise, great numbers.
I'd rather have Calvin Johnson.
Okay, well, that's not an option.
No, I'm just telling you who I'd rather have.
I worried about Marquise Lee with injuries, too.
If you're getting him in the 13th round and he does any...
Oh, I know. It's a sleeper pick. This is more of a sleeper pick to me than a breakout pick, but he could break out. He could finish as... But what's the cap he putting on? A wide receiver, too?
What's that?
The highest he could probably finish this year is a wide receiver, too, right?
For your fantasy team?
Yeah. Like, you're not saying he's going to jump into wide receiver 1 territory, right?
No.
Okay, I just want to see how far on the slim we're going.
No. For the record, my hero pick was Marquise Goodwin, but his ADP is at 79. I don't see him outperforming that ADP that much.
What? The great one?
Good
You don't get a name called the great one.
He's so great.
We're talking about Marquise Goodwin. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Not Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Wayne Gretzky got a time machine. Saw him play, went back in time and named himself that.
Okay. Well, with Pierre Garçon coming back, I don't think he's going to outplay his ADP by that much.
Dude, Pierre Garçon's got that weak neck, dude. He's going to get hurt. The great one stepping in.
Okay. Well, we'll see. He was Jimmy G's favorite target at the end of the year when Garoppolo started playing, so that is something. But I don't know. He didn't have Pierre Garçon there to take away those targets.
And they got a special connection in camp, too.
I've heard about those plays they've been running, so.
I read all the reports.
Well, they're just reports. As Brad says, you can't really trust too much from what you hear out of camp.
The Rock is the great one, too, and he's going to lay the smackdown on you for not.
We have anything to add to this episode, Brad?
I don't have anything to add. It's been a coffee. Good, long night episode here.
Josh, you good over there? Any other nonsense to throw in before we close out this episode?
Just want to have fun, guys.
Austin Eckler's running touchdowns in.
Draft Kerryon Johnson, unless you're my
From all of us here at the show, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. Join us next week for another episode of We Don't Know What Yet, but we'll let you know. Follow us on Twitter at EmptyWagonFF. If you want to hit us up individually during the week, find us on Twitter at TacJonesBrad, at FFJoshUserJosh, and at HattrickPat37 for myself. Have a great week, everyone. Stay tuned for more updates and fantasy football advice. Hat Trick out.
Later.
Our song gets me so hyped.